Hello everyone. Let's take a look at 4 important tips that you need to pay attention when you do English literature poetry. So you have a collection of poetry. So when you are studying literature, when you are studying poetry, 4 important tips that you need to pay attention. First of all, the first tip is that you have to be aware of the eras. We have poems based on different eras. So starting with Elizabethan era, then we have Elizabethan era, metaphysical era, romantic era, Augustan era, or Victorian, then modern era, like that. We have poems based on different eras. So you can pay attention to the different eras and what are the specific characteristics we find in different eras. What the specific characteristics you see in different eras and how these eras are how each of these era has then what are the distinctive features of these eras. So you need to pay attention. Like for example, romantic era, it was a time where the poets wanted to escape from reality. They moved to nature. Nature became the major source, or nature was like nature provided them a sentimental melancholy, or nature provided them a way of escaping. The nature was a solution. Nature was like a vehicle for them to move into another world. And their poems were like they wrote poetry related to their imagination, like that. And when it comes to neoclassical era, once again you find different other characteristics. Metaphysical era, for example, Donne's poetry, you find them as like with the metaphysical wit. No? You find different characteristics belong to different eras. So be aware of the distinctive features of each era of poetry. The second tip, the second point I wanted to highlight, you have to be aware of the genre. Genre, it's a French word that means type of. So what type of poem it is? We have different types of poems. For example, we have ballads, we have sonnets, we have lyrics, free verse, elegies, different types like even the sonnets. We have Elizabethan era sonnets and Italian Petrarchan sonnets, then free verse, like that, the lyrics and different types. So you have to be aware of, like we have some elegies, for example the poem Fisherman Mourned by His Wife, and to the memory of Mr. Oldham. So we have some elegies, and then you have to be aware of the distinctive features if it's an elegy. So what are the features of an elegy? What are the qualities of an elegy? How do you justify this poem as an elegy? And we have lyrics and we have free verse. Then why it is written in that way? What about the rhyming scheme? And what is the rhyme, the rhythm, the meter? You can pay attention to them. So specifically, like you can separately pay attention, this poem, this is the genre, this is the era, and these features of the era, these features of the genre I find in this poem. Like that you can make your own notes. The third point I wanted to analyze, it is the themes. So we have poems based on different themes. Themes of love, like life, it's about violence, war. So we can divide the poems under the theme of love. Then the theme of love, and also about the theme of love we find different aspects of love. The impermanence of the human body and the permanence of love. Then also the fact of the idea of aging. People grow old, people die, but the love will remain. Different aspects of love. Then love in spite of, like maybe it's about an unrequited love. Love and feelings, how you fall, like Shakespeare's, just take a look at Shakespeare's sonnet 141. Then it's another aspect of love. Sonnet 73 in your collection, another aspect of love. The poem Remembrance, it's another aspect of love. Fisherman Mourned by His Wife, a marriage that happen as a proposed marriage, and how their relationship develops, and at the end how they grow up to be, like the fisherwoman says, like, you have become like my hand. So then how they grow up and how their relationship improves. So like that, different relationships, and even about the theme of life, the violence, different aspects of violence, the brutality, the harshness, and the meaninglessness of violence. Violence as something meaningless. The war has destroyed the life of a young boy in the poem Suicide in Trenches. And also the modern poems, like maybe Morning at the Window by T.S. Eliot. He makes a criticism of life, human life, the poverty, how poverty became a part of the human life. And also a poem like Money, how the how money has created social classes. So Philip Larkin describes how money has created social classes, different layers in the society. So like that, be aware of the themes. And also, finally, the last point I wanted to emphasize, I wanted to highlight it is, you should be aware of the different literary devices. Pay attention to the different literary devices. So, and the purpose, especially you have to, like, don't just learn this is a metaphor. Don't just learn this is a alliteration. Everybody knows that you can easily identify this as a metaphor, this as an alliteration, this is the tone, this is a simile, this is oxymoron, onomatopoeia, like you know all the techniques actually. But learn the purpose of the technique, why this particular technique is used here. What is the purpose of using this technique? If there is an alliteration, why this particular alliteration is used here? What does the writer expect by using this alliteration? What is the purpose? So like that. So eras, genre, what genre, and the themes and the literary devices. So pay attention to all these things and you can make your own notes. So when you have a short note, when you have a rough idea about these things, it's easy for you to analyze the poems, and it is easy for you to approach whatever the question that comes from poetry in your literature paper. So I hope you got an idea. So once again, let's meet with another video. Study well. All the best. Bye bye.